Well, hello and welcome to the weather video. We'll talk about this weekend and just crappy weather we've had this week. Just yesterday was hard, drizzly, and just miserable, sucky day. And we've got more of that coming for at least the first half of tomorrow. You can see the weather map kind of tells the story here. We've got a stalled front off to the southwest and another wave of low pressure that's going to bring us another wave of more rain tomorrow. At least, hopefully, maybe it'll wash away some of the snow, but there's still so much of it left in the woods and piles everywhere. It just doesn't want to go away at all. It's like very weird. But there you go. That's what the weather map looks like. You see all that rain there, and even some severe weather possible in that warm sector. Surface analysis. Again, there you go. It's like kind of a messed up low here. It actually shows two warm fronts. A stationary front and another warm. Kind of weird. But at least high pressure sort of nosed in and gave us a dry day today. Of course, they did have sunshine if you were over in New England. But we didn't have any of that here. So you can see here that we've got clouds now in New England. But earlier on, it was fairly sunny over there. If we go to the Modus, you'll see that it was sunny. Well, see they had sun, maybe some scattered cirrus, but fairly clear if you were in Cape Cod, Boston. But that's as far as the clear air got for the most part. And that stuck in the clouds again for a second or third day in a row, really. I mean, Tuesday was very murky. So let's go to the CONUS view of this, and you can see just the mess that we've got, the stalled front situation over pretty much stretches from coast to coast, which is pretty ridiculous. And looking at our weather and hazards map, you can see, we got winter storm weather on this part of the front here, but severe weather in this part of the front. Wind advisories in this area here in the lower Great Lakes. Red flag warnings. They had some really bad wildfires in Oklahoma and Kansas that were barely talked about in the news. And some more winter storms out west. So stormy pattern from coast to coast. No one's really getting any fair weather except maybe if you're in Florida, maybe, I guess. But for the most part, you see temperatures are in the mid-30s. You can see in that warm sector, though, where that tornado watch is, they got temperatures in the 50s and even 60s there. Dew points are high, too, in that area. But we're not going to really see any of that warm sector. We have the cold air kind of stuck in place right now. And today we really didn't get... the alley got up into the upper 40s, but it only got to around 40 in most locations today. And not a big diurnal range, though. The clouds we've had, the morning lows probably, only mid-30s. So 5 degrees between the high and the low. Not a big range in the high and low. The high and low temperatures for today. So you can see high of 40, low of 35. We're actually 4 degrees above normal because of that low of 35. And then if we look at yesterday's statistics, yesterday we had a high of 39 and a low of 30. So 1 degree above normal for that day. And we got 0.10. It wasn't a whole lot of rain, actually, but it was just a lot of sucky drizzle and light rain. The rain we're going to be getting into first part of tomorrow is definitely going to be more substantial for sure. So looking at the radar here, you'll see here that we do have some very light shower activity. There might have been some drizzle along southern Jersey, but this is the area that we're going to be seeing in a weakened form. But you can see they've got severe weather in this area, severe thunderstorms actually in this area here, and tornado watches north of Cincinnati, which, again, very unusual for February to see that. But we have a lot of, again, we're back at the cold pattern we had was actually more typical of what you should have in the winter. This definitely is not. This is more of a global warming kind of thing that we're going through. And then you can see the winter weather that is going to be out in Iowa and stuff. So, we have to look at the future, and obviously some people have been hyping up a coastal storm that I haven't been buying since day one. We will go and look at all the models and see what they show. Let's get started with, and I will take this view to a little bit of a closer view to the eastern U.S., all right? First, the GFS, a.k.a. the good for snow model, as some people call it, because this is the one that's been hyping the storm now for a while. This is the 18Z GFS. Now, it's going to tomorrow, you'll see that rain we'll be getting, but then we'll be dry on Saturday. But then Sunday, yep, here comes the big coastal storm that has bombing out and giving a lot of heavy snow to southern New Jersey and eastern Long Island. That's the GFS, all right? It's the only model that's doing that, all right? We go ahead and we look at the European model. Here's the European, and it's further out. You can see it brushes us. It's come up a little bit. This is the 18Z run. Look at the 12Z run. It was much further to the south. But these 18Z runs are known to be a little squirrely, all right? So it brushes us, but it's still not the storm that the GFS would predict. It would be a light, maybe moderate snowfall. It's not a whole lot. The air is not that cold. But that's the 18Z European. Now we have the Canadian, which has it suppressed pretty much all the way offshore. That's the 12Z Canadian. And the Icon, which also has it suppressed fairly far offshore. So it would be just a brush at this point. And the GFS has been consistent showing this snow. But like I said, I'm not buying it. And when we get closer to Sunday and we have more of it in the shorter range models, I'll talk about a little more. Maybe Saturday night or Friday night. I usually don't do videos Saturday night on the weather, but I'll have to see what happens. But right now, like I said, I'm not too bullish on this storm, even though a lot of other people are trying to hype it. I don't think we're going to see a huge impact from it. We might see a light snowfall from it. But that's what it's looking like right now, all right? So let's take a closer look at our area here, because we got to get through the rain for tomorrow. So let's focus on that, and then we'll talk a little more about that potential coastal storm. So we'll first look at the dew points and wind flow, and kind of tells you the story. We've got the east wind, and that east wind is going to stay with us tomorrow. We will not get into that warm sector at all. That east wind, and that's going to, I'm hoping we can dry things out a little bit toward the evening. Then as you get towards Saturday, you see we have more of a northwest wind. So I'm hoping that westerly wind can dry us out at least a little bit more. All right. And maybe we'll see some sunshine. But as far as tonight goes, the temperatures stay in the mid-30s, and they really don't go much of anywhere tomorrow. Yeah, south, you could see some warmer air. Try to get in to the southern half of New Jersey, but most of us will have similar temperatures to today, probably highs around 40 degrees. And then as we go into the evening, the temperatures kind of stay steady. And then Saturday, yeah, we could warm up into the mid-40s on Saturday. So let's go take a look at the precipitation. This is the HRRR we're looking at here, but we'll look at some of the other models as well with the precipitation. So rain probably going to start in the morning. It's going to be 7, 8 in the morning. We'll have rain, steady rain, and then by the afternoon, it should stop, though. They might try to linger for a little bit over Suffolk County, and we'll have to watch for the potential sucky drizzle behind that. I'm hoping we don't have to deal with that. And then Saturday should be fairly dry, though as we get toward the evening, you'll notice some light mixed precipitation tries to develop, particularly over the east end into the north. It's really light mixed precipitation with the with that front again, this stall front that we've been dealing with, tries to again move back up north again on Saturday night. So this front is just moving back and forth over our area pretty much. That's why we call this stalled front syndrome. It's very annoying. Looking at the total accumulated precip on the HRRR, it's giving us about a ½ inch of liquid. However, off to the south, it shows a little bit less. So there might be an area that's a little bit less, a little bit more. This is what the HRRR is showing again. So we will now shift over to the NAM. And we'll go to the NAM 3. So here's the NAM 3. And you can see there might be some drizzle before the rain starts. And that rain definitely is going to arrive by 8, 9 o'clock, and it'll be lasting through. And the NAM is a little slow with getting it out of here. Here we are, 4 or 5 o'clock, still dealing with a little bit of light rain lingering around. The NAM's a little slower to get rid of it. So we'll have to see what happens. And I'm thinking by the evening we should see some improvement. Hopefully a Friday night won't be a wet mess. And then the Saturday, actually let's just have a little bit. The back end, you can see the low forms, and the NAM actually brings maybe a little bit of snow showers over there. I don't think there'll be any snowfall from that. as far as accumulation goes. For Saturday, we're dry for the most part, but you see what happens by by the evening. We've got a little, the NAM is trying to break out some sucky drizzle and light rain again by the evening. As this front has moving back at us a little bit. So this front just keeps moving back and forth over us, this stalled front here, this stalled boundary. And that could be the focal point. It has some light mixed precipitation, too. Some of it could be snow, but as far as any accumulations from that total snowfall, there won't be any, not in our area. That total accumulated precip, again, showing that about that half-inch amount of liquid equivalent for tomorrow is generally what I'm thinking. We'll go to the HDRPS next. We don't have the 0Z running yet, but we can look at the 18Z run. HDRPS is showing a lot lighter with the rainfall over us. It has a lot less and more of it off to the south, interestingly enough. So the HDRPS, a little bit of an outlier here. So timing is still the same in the morning, but it seems like it takes the heavier stuff further to the south. Not sure if but either way, the case is you're going to be dealing with some rain, and then the HDRPS keeps that rain lingering around into the evening, so that's not good. I'm really hoping it's not another stay inside day again, but we'll have to see what happens at this point. If that crap gets out of here by the later in the afternoon and the evening, or the whole day is ruined. It's kind of hard to say at this point. We'll look at some more models and see, go to some of the other sites and see, but I'm hoping things do dry out. Because if we looked at the wind flows, you notice that, and we'll go over to the Ventus sky and look at them, they do turn more northern northwesterly instead of easterly, which I think would push the drizzle out. So next we'll go and we'll look at the NAM 12, and we'll take a look at that, what the 0Z NAM 12, see what it shows with that storm. So this is the NAM 12, and you can see it just takes it offshore. You can see it's got a little bit of a brush to the Jersey shore there, but it's just a brush. It pretty much keeps it. We'll see some impacts from it, but it's going to be minimal, I think. So that's what the NAM shows. That's as far as it goes. 12Z Monday. That's as much as we've got. We can look at the total snowfall, and it is showing a little more for the extreme southeast Jersey, and very little for us. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Again, that's one model, one run. If we go to the icon. It has even less, so it has basically hardly anything at this point. It does seem to give a little more later on in the day on Monday, oddly enough, but this is still just barely an inch at this point. And the icon does that because if we take a look at the storm on the icon, there's some like wraparound moisture. It kind of interacts with a little bit of a trough off to the west, and that could keep some of the precipitation lingering around extreme coastal areas on Monday, according to the icon. One thing we will have to watch out for are coastal impacts like wind and stuff, which we're going to look at as well. And then, so it's looking like more of a Sunday night and Monday thing. So I'm thinking that probably have to update on the storm on Sunday night if things change or not. So let's go to the European model. This isn't going to give us the actual snowfall, but you'd see it's just a brush. You can see it just brushes us. And this would be more of a Monday event now. It looks like it's turning into. Not so much a Sunday event, more of a Monday event now. So it's definitely slowing it down a little bit, but it's still a mist. It's still not really going to give us a whole lot of snow, according to that particular track. Now we have the AI as well. The AI is, again, the AI takes it a little closer to us. This is the 18Z AI. AI GFS also takes it just that heavier part, just stays offshore, maybe glances at the east end a little bit. Those are the AI models that we have. Any other models we could look at here? I don't think any more we can look at. So we'll go to the RGM, we'll look at the skies. Well, so the RGM actually shows it a little bit. So here we can show that a little bit. Show the storm on the RGM a little bit. So it does go out and show it to you a little bit. So you could see a little mixed precipitation there, and then maybe as it tries to pull some cold air down. But you could see that the heaviest part of the storm stays. It's too far offshore. So the really steady, heavier snows stay away. If we were to look at the total snowfall on this, Yeah, you can see it would basically give the highest amounts maybe 3 inches. All right, so it wouldn't be very much. And if the snow winds up falling during the day instead of at night, then you have the effect of the sun, which may keep it from accumulating that much as well. Because now we're getting into late February sun angles, and the temperatures also during the storm aren't that cold. Even if we looked at the GFS here, which obviously if we go to the GFS, you can see the GFS obviously blasts New Jersey with a foot of snow, and Long Island with like 8 inches of snow. But the temperatures, again, for the storm are going to be real borderline here. So, real borderline. Whatever snow we would get would be, of course, of the wet variety, because we rarely ever get powder. There's not really much cold air to work with. It's not a lot of cold air, and it's not an optimal situation. Certainly not like what we had with the storm in January. We still had mixing with that storm, even with all that cold air, which is crazy. But anyway, that's what it looks like on all the major models with the storm. So we'll go back to RGEM for a moment. Just look at skies in the RGEM. Because obviously we're going to have plenty of clouds around. If you like sunshine, like me, well, you're not going to like things the way things are, because tomorrow you're not going to see the sun at all. Might be some breaks in the clouds later on in the night to the evening. There might be some breaks. This is actually showing some clear skies for a little bit on Saturday, the RGEM, which that would be nice if that actually happened. That would be very nice if that happened, because then Sunday we'll have to deal with more clouds again as that storm kind of goes offshore. It almost looks like it develops an eye to it. So let's go over to Ventu Sky, and we'll take a look at tomorrow, and we'll see. Tomorrow we're not going to be dealing with too much in the way of wind. We will have an easterly flow during the afternoon, so this is the issue. But I think once we get to 8 p.m., you notice the winds become a little more north, and that would lead me to hope that there would be more drying. So we're going to use this site to look at the visibility. And you'll see as we go to 2 o'clock, you'll see it definitely showing some sucky drizzle, particularly along the shore. Go to 4 o'clock, it's actually bringing more of that drizzle in. Although this could actually be rain. On 7 o'clock, it still has it over us. So this is not good, because this means it's going to be wet all evening long. It's just going to be another day stuck inside with more sucky drizzle again. So this could very well be what happens, unfortunately, for Friday. This is not a good look at all in this model at all, showing a lot of sucky drizzle. If we look at the precipitation, it is showing some light rain too, so it's just having it lingering around. It's not getting it out of here fast enough. So tomorrow, I was hoping it was going to clear out by the evening, but at least according to the HRRR, which is this model, it's showing not really too much, unfortunately. And maybe just dealing with sucky drizzle throughout until much later at night. It stays wet and yucky all day, and cold too. It's not going to be warm. Temperatures are still going to be in the upper 30s to around 40. So, it's going to be it's going to suck for sure. Now, what we can do is use this will show the icon once I think we go out to Sunday, and we can sort of look at icon and see if the wind gusts and see what they are here. Nothing too crazy on this particular model here on the icon. But can we get the GFS on here? I don't know if this one has a GFS yet. It does have the GFS. So if you go to the GFS, you notice it's much worse. Bigger storm, has wind gusts 48 miles an hour, pops as high as 61, and even getting worse. This is the GFS. Gusts could be approaching 70 along the Jersey Shore. So, yeah, if the GFS was right, not only would you have to worry about snow and probably blizzard conditions, but you would also have to worry about wind damage and coastal flooding as well, if the GFS was correct. All right, so that's what the GFS kind of gives you an idea for Sunday. Monday, still dealing with some strong winds even on Monday. Take a look at Long Island here. 63 miles an hour, 58 miles an hour. These wind gusts are pretty insane here. Look at that. This would be a pretty bad storm if the GFS was right. But I just don't think it's going to be right, because if you go to the icon, yeah, it's not too bad at all. The worst of it stays offshore. So yeah, it's much further away on this model. You can see, but where the center of the low is. Look at some of these. This low will bomb out. Look at how strong the icon is at getting it. So it's still impressive, to say the least. It's still very impressive, to say the least. Now, we can also look at oceans as well, icon as well. Not showing too much coastal impacts for us on Monday. There could be some, though. We do see some high surf as well on the icon here. So that's one site. We can go to windy.com, which would be our other site, and take a look at this one and see. First, we'll go to visibility, and we'll see if this model gives us any more hope for salvaging tomorrow. We're going to have 2 stuck inside days here. Let's go and look at visibility. So, yeah, it's still showing some sucky drizzle, so there could still be some sucky drizzle hanging around. Still has that green around, though it has the visibility. Not that, but any kind of shading here would probably mean drizzle, unfortunately. So, yeah, it looks like tomorrow, unfortunately, is looking more and more like a washout. 2 washouts in 1 week. Unfreaking believable. Well, that's what you get with stall front syndrome, and that's why I despise it so much. So let's go and look at the storm now. And first, we'll do the new snow. So we'll do this, kind of show you what the European thinks we're going to see with snowfall. And it's not a whole lot. Actually, it's very little along the Jersey Shore. A little more up in the area, maybe 1 to 2 inches. So that's what the Euro has. And this is what I'm kind of thinking is we're going to be dealing with for this storm. Now, as far as the winds go, let's go and take a look at that. Winds won't be an issue tomorrow. There won't be an issue Saturday, but Sunday, yeah, they are going to be a little more of an issue. These are wind gusts. But still, the worst of it stays offshore. You can see that with this track, more offshore track, though it does come a little closer here. You see, just offshore, you're going to have wind gusts possibly as high as 66. But on the coast, Montauk might get into it a little bit, 54 miles an hour, so at the very least, maybe a wind advisory, but if, like I said, the GFS was right, we'd probably have a blizzard warning and a high wind warning. And let's just hope that GFS is wrong, all right? Because it should be, because it's the only model that's predicting a hit. But we'll have to see what happens. Until I get the short-range models, it's kind of hard to say, to write it off completely. But I'm thinking we're not going to get a big storm at this point. So the other issue, obviously, would be the ocean. So we're going to go to the seas, waves, and see what effects we're going to have here. So, and again, there will be effects, especially along the Jersey Shore. It's definitely showing some effects, perhaps for the high tide Monday morning. And then kind of stays rough all day over on Monday there. And you can see offshore, you're going to have some pretty bad waves. But the worst of it is offshore. With the Euro track. All right. One thing that will happen, though, with the storm is it will get colder again once the storm is done. If we look at our air temperatures, which is what we're going to look at now, you will see, first of all, Sunday, our temperatures kind of are at the freezing mark. So the temperatures, like I said, marginal as well. And you can see those temperatures, again, marginal, just around the mid-30s for Monday. But it will pull down colder air, and by Tuesday morning, we're going to be dealing with 20s and then 30s probably, or low 30s for highs. May not on Tuesday. It could be a little on the chilly side. So it will turn a little colder behind the storm, but we'll focus on that once we've got the storm figured out, I think. So, yeah, expect a sucky Friday, another sucky day, and then a break Saturday, and then we'll see what happens on Sunday into Monday. That's it. Have a good night.